radio necessarily written on them. That coming, like, one, from the artist perspective, thinking about it in this context and like coming up with what is that catchy thing gonna be without feeling like you're sacrificing the integrity of the record. Because some records you just want to be a vibe. You don't necessarily want there to be a melody, or you don't want there to be a vocal that is like your takeaway. But then you run the risk of, like you said, sliding down the wall versus sticking. So like, I don't know that I have advice for that, except other than like, if that's the record you want to make, cool, do it. But if you want to be remembered and you want the record to be memorable, like, you kind of have to do these other things. So I always adhere
but then make a different record.
Exactly. I was just gonna say, like,
it's not that
one for you, one for them.
right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't write, but I always think of like this process needs to happen in like outside of like thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some thinking, obviously, but like also like there's the flow and like the hook. Sometimes the hook is the chorus. Sometimes it's an instrument. Sometimes it's something so you completely miss it. We've done these tests on radio records all the time. Like, oh, this is the chorus. That should be the hook. And they're like, no, that's the hook, actually. And then it's neither of those. It's some crazy thing in the middle of a song that only the listener gets, right? And so sometimes those things don't end up even testing just for that reason. But this one sounds a little hooky to me. Shall we see who this is?
Let's do it.
So, by the way, real quick, you're listening to Dope or Nope. We do this every Thursday at 3 p.m. We do it on Reach.me, EST, correct?
Thank you.
He's such a stickler for the coast.
Well, you keep saying 3 p.m. and it means nothing to Pearson in LA because they'll be tuning in 3 hours late.
Well, except
there's this whole other country on the other side of the country.
Yeah, not really.
No, not really.
The East Coast is the coast you need to worry about. I'm just saying. I don't want to get into that conversation.
All right.
But we do this every Thursday at 3 p.m. EST. My friends Lauren Padman, Austin Kramer, who is in a truck somewhere and not really. Austin, are you backstage?
Austin,
did we forget to add him again?
Come on, stop it. I can see him.
Come on.
There you go.
Come on.
There you go.
There it is.
There it is.
Dude, I didn't know you were backstage.
I didn't know you were backstage. Austin Kramer.
Getting feedback.
Yeah.
Mute that mic.
Yeah,
he's listening on his Bluetooth. He's in the studio truck. Thank you, my man, for dropping in. Nick Dietrich and Raquel Golu, who's not here today, but we do this every week, and we enjoy it a great deal, and we listen to these demos. And this one is called Dot, the letter N, Life, and El Perro. You ready? I'm already feeling this one. This is Dropbox, so you got to help me with the volume a little bit. Feels loud to me. Or it's distorted already. Jay Dobby, what's up?
We jump ahead.
I want to get through this section and then I'll bounce it.
El ambiente se puso chévere, ya ves bailando con los títeres.
So this is 4 minutes long. Do you want me to bounce a little bit?
No, I got the idea of what it is.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
Go ahead, Nick.
So Jay Dobby said these tech records with just toms are bugging me, but they'd work in a club. I agree. Like I could see this in the context of our set working really well. Is it a compelling record for me just to listen to? Not really. And there are things I think you could do to make it stronger for a club. One, this could stand to have some kind of like melodic component that's just instrumental, because the vocal is so relentless that when you go to just drums here, it feels awesome.
Right. Speaking of no space again.
Yeah, I think leaning into some kind of drop, and it doesn't have to be over the top, but a drop that grooves, that has some kind of basic melody, can go a long way, and you can keep it pretty organic sounding. So it just fits in line with that. Check a lot of the like Kreider, Tom Starr records for references on that stuff. Lauren?
Nice. It's hard to hear what the bass line is doing. I'd like to hear what that is happening, because it's very tinny and ticky. But I like it. I like the intonation of the vocal. I can't make out any of the words, obviously, but just the rhythm of it, as if it was an instrument being played. I like how that feels. Yeah, it's probably doing enough to be a groove. I think that whatever the bass line's doing just needs to be really, really big to compensate for the monotony of the drum loop and the house loop, and the idea of what we were talking about before, where a song can be really long, but you just stay in this monotonous or hypnotic. I guess monotonous has got a negative connotation. I don't mean that. I mean hypnotic. A hypnotic state of staying in a really cool groove. It needs to be anchored with something deep. So on the sound spectrum side of things. So it needs in my opinion, it needs like a very, very big bass line to be the thing that you're grooving out to during that hypnotic time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you can achieve that if it is there and we're not hearing it. There's a plugin called Saturn from FabFilter that's awesome. It's a saturator. You could throw that on the low end and just bring it out a little bit more, like the part of the bass line that translates. So like the 100 to 200 hertz, just blow that out a little bit more so it translates on regular speakers, and that can go a long way.
Sorry, did I miss what you just said? What was the frequency?
100 to 200 hertz.
Okay, and you're just saying just punch it up with an EQ?
Well, you could do it with an EQ, but we normally do it with a saturator like Saturn.
Oh, I see.
It just gives, I don't know, it gives a little more growl to it that helps it cut through on regular speakers, not like if you don't have a subwoofer.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know. I like it for exactly what it is. I don't want it to be anything else. This is one of those times where I'm like, you're designed it properly. Like this, to me, this is a great club record. Like, yeah, it could be a little less on the vocal because it does like.
If that offends you, Austin, just get out. Just get out. Just get out.
He's like,
just get out of your car.
Get out of here. Jeez. Austin, you all right?
He's pumping gas. He's rocking and rolling.
He's a mensch, man. He's hanging out. Even with the mic off, you can hear
what he's thinking.
I cannot figure out the app's audio. It's a little tricky, but I can hear you guys really clearly, and the music sounds good.
Well, when you're speaking, it sounds great. So we just can't speak.
Oh, okay. Plus, it's probably like background noise in the car here. I don't know.
Yeah,
not that bad.
Not that bad. Of the tune?
Beep, 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 beep.
What did you think of the tune?
I don't know.
All right.
And he's gone. All right, so we'll go to the next one.
Yep.
I gotta get rid of. So once again, that's DOTN, the letter N, Life, El Prero. All right, and this is Dope or Nope. This next one is by Mario Tavares. Mario's back, and it's called "It Is Good to Be Alive." Don't I know that one? Coming up, why Lauren Padman is in the music industry and not playing tennis somewhere. Or I'll go next. I have a short one. I have a short story. Let me rephrase that. Mario's tracks are always killing. Hola, Mario. Oh, Todd Stuckey in the house. What's up, brother? That's Mario Tavares. It is good to be alive. What do you think, guys?
These records are really hard for me to give feedback on because I don't regularly listen to this style of music. But if it's 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
It's also almost 6 minutes long, so contextually it's hard to stuff that into a.
So, I mean, all I can say is the mix is really good. It's punchy. I like that there's a lot of different cool percussive elements going on, and they feel like they all have their place. So from a mix perspective, I think it's really dope, and everything sits nicely.
Yeah. They are the best of their kind. They just do what they do. I think that I agree with Nick. It's hard to be able to qualify if this is going to hold the dance floor in any particular way, because this style of music is tricky to be able to define. I think it feels really nice. It doesn't feel broken. It's hard for us to be able to add value to it. But I definitely like it. I love that hypnotic feeling of it again. That makes it feel super nice. So I don't know. It's good. It's not really doing anything wrong. So
Yeah, I was just gonna add to that. Like it feels consistent with other records that I've heard in this lane that are from established artists, and so it hits the nail on the head in terms of quality, and it can compete with other things in this lane, if that makes sense.
Right.
You don't feel like you fell short.
Right. You know, I think it's interesting. I've been listening to, just because of a couple of people that I work with, and one that I manage, listening to like a lot more sort of electronic underground. So like Frankie and Sandrino, and you know, the Economist, and like things like that. And it's been a good exercise for me. I actually had one of the Armada A&R guys make a whole playlist of you know, stuff from like Tale of Us, and you know, just like that kind of vibe, like in that lane a lot. And it's been great for me to refreshing, in fact, for me to listen to that and then come back to the commercial stuff. but to be able to let go of like, because I listen to a lot of commercial stuff just for work. You know, will this work? What stations can play? Like your brain's always, and to just listen again, and to just listen. And that's the sole purpose. And I feel like songs like this, to me, you know, in the right club, like we were talking about, like a Damian Lazarus, like extravaganza at like, you know, 5 a.m, whatever. Perfect. That's all. You're just there to listen and just vibe. And so they're structured differently, and it's nice to be able to like let go of the feeling where something has to happen. It's been 32 seconds. You know, but that's our world, right? Because we have to like get that whole story into 2 minutes and 36 seconds, and then someone has to like that, your elevator pitch. So it's nice to, you know, be able to hear stuff like this and like refresh my my passion for the things that I actually do, you know, for work and like. But you get a little stale when that's all you're listening to. I think that's the same for everyone, maybe.
Well said.
Sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
So Mario Tavares, and everyone who's making music like that, keep it going, because you're keeping my ears quite clean. Galaxy, You Got Me, and this is techno melodic apparently, but let's see what it says. This is Dope or Nope. Hope you're enjoying it. Austin's back on the road. Console Training. What's up? Wow, I haven't seen that name yet. This song is perfect for Austin driving, I think. Exactly. Kind of feeling that.
Stand it in a bit, Hess, and just sort of see
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it does in the middle of it.
All right. Hold on. This is about 219. It's 443 total. Then it goes back out.
I'm gonna
That's fine.
throw another.
All right, go ahead there, Austin.
Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering what is that? That's fire, as they say. Fire with all the eyes. Fire.
That's Galaxy. Your boy.
Go ahead there, Nick.
Galaxy, I love your stuff. Really cool idea here. The lead synth that kind of that arpeggiated lead synth that kind of carries it gets a little stale because it rides for so long without anything happening. I noticed like there was a little bit of automation, but I feel like you can push the distance, play with the cutoff and resonance on that synth a little bit. There's also a plugin called Filter Freak by Sound Toys that does some really cool stuff that you can automate, and it plays with the frequencies and whatnot. But try that out. But ultimately, like, it boils down to like I think that main lead is cool, and it's got a lot of momentum, but something needs to happen with it to keep the track interesting.
I kind of was really digging it. It's ironic I mentioned Tale of Us right before I played that because he had a picture of like of a scene that I've seen in their videos at their shows where the guy's like hanging upside down, floating. It's kind of cool. But that was Galaxy. Thanks for sending that. You're listening to Dope or Nope. Should I do the quick story of why I'm in the music industry?
Well, you wanted Lauren to go first. I feel
No,
like
man, you wanted to bring this whole topic up.
He made this face like sort of like this cringy. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, go ahead, Hess. You go ahead.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
I'll
please.
go first.
Yeah, I'll
Sure.
come after the next couple of songs.
So I have a BA in environmental biology. That's what I was in college for.
Respect.
The University of Denver. And I was working my way through college. I worked at a Marriott hotel, and they had a club in there, and I was a bartender. I was making quite a bit of dough, and nights. I was working like 4 nights a week, and I was working some of the early nights, but then they gave me like the weekend nights when they actually had a DJ, and at that point I had never heard music mixed together.
Oh yeah.
Like in succession.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think it was like, let's call it 70,
Yeah, wow.
whatever, early 80s. And so then they hired this DJ. She went by the name of Catwoman.
Of course you did.
Of course she did. Yeah, she was like 7 feet tall, blonde, and she came in and she was playing like a lot of like alternative stuff. And it was so good. And mixing it together, and like my brain was so like, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, what the fuck is she doing with this music? I don't understand. And at the time, there were no 1200s, they had 1100s, where you had to like quickly change it was like a digital, how you change the speed. So anyway, I'll shorten the story a great deal. I spoke to her. I was like, I don't understand what you're doing. Can you show me what's going on? So a couple things happened after that. I learned how to DJ. We got married. We had 2 kids, and I finished school. And Daniel and Vanessa, that's their mom.
Wow.
And
That was a hard left turn. I did not
That was a
anticipate.
really hard left.
Come on.
Catwoman?
So
Wow.
that's how that went down, yeah. And anyway, she was actually for 1979 the Billboard DJ of the Year for the state of Colorado. So yeah, she had some skills.
That's insane. That is
Yeah.
no wonder you wanted to do this story time because you have like the most.
So that
epic
was the
story.
moment. Besides the other things, that was the moment that I was like, this is so fascinating. And then I went on to like DJ at other places while she was like doing the main room, like 3 or 4 other clubs. So I ended up like moving back east. I opened a record shop, and things went decidedly crazy from that point on. But my story on why I thought it was a bad idea. Sometime in the 90s, there was a club in Miami called Warsaw Ballroom, which was located on 13th Street, which ended up being Jerry's Deli, I think, in the end, and was the definitive underground nightclub. A guy named David Pepino played there, and every year Leslie Doyle, who was like a industry icon from back then, she would put together summer sessions, which was Dave Morales, Frankie, Kenny Dope, like Todd Terry, like all the guys, and they would party, and they would go until 6 a.m. And one morning I left at 6 a.m. and this is also pre-cell phone, pre-Uber. And at 6 a.m. on South Beach is a desert. And I had to walk. I was staying off beach too, so I had to walk I think I got home at like 9 o'clock. There's no taxis, no nothing. And during that walk, I had some suspect. I was like, potentially, I should be in a different business. Best party I ever went to. But those are the 2 sides of it. it was fun, but it was fun until it wasn't fun. So, so there you have it. That's why I'm in, and I was able to get through that momentary glitch and stay in another 30-something years. This next demo is by Friend Zone.
So reset
featuring...
the room real quick there, Hess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, you do it.
Oh, no, you do it.
Oh, sure.
Is there a question and answer period to this story? Because I got some.
Sure.
Sure.
You married Catwoman?
I did.
I did.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know I was
You
married
know
to...
I was married to...
You know her real name,
You know
right,
her
Helen?
real name, right, Helen?
No, I don't think so. I just didn't know it was a DJ named Catwoman. It's just such a great story. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, you bet.
I have another I got married to an artist story, but I'm going to leave that for another time.
Oh, wow. Because
That's what I thought you were talking about.
Oh, no.
You're talking about
Expose.
Expose.
Different story, different decade.
All right, George, reset the room and here's the next
Reset the
demo.
room. This is Dope or Nope. We do it every Thursday at 3 p.m. EST. You guys send your demos. We do our best to talk up the best parts of them and provide as much information as we can to make them better. And sometimes we nitpick quite a bit, and we've talked about this, and that's really just our way of saying, it's so close.
Yeah.
This could be this. And, of course, that's our opinion, but collectively we have about 100 years in the industry. And a lot of time and experience with people who have also had a lot of time and experience. So we've been around a lot of people with tremendous talent.
Definitely
so we hope that...
stolen lots of advice from others. That's for
What's
sure.
that?
Definitely have stolen a lot of advice from others.
Hey, but, you know, like, that's how I was brought in.
Yep.
You know, with people providing me advice, and so, you know, I would be an ass if I just like kept it all to myself and then left the industry, right? So
Absolutely.
We spend this time giving it back. So you can catch us here on Reach.me. You can catch us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Facebook. Where else are we? Are we on TikTok too?
All
I
over
think
the
a little
place.
bit. Yeah, we're all everywhere. And thank you for joining us. This song, I'm going to rewind right to about here. This is Friend Zone featuring Sonder, and this is called Fallout.
All right.
And this is Dope or Nope.
I don't know if I can take this. You say don't leave me when I'm laying with you late that night. Somehow we're here each time it's like this. I've seen the upside of breakdowns, and I stuck around through the fallout. So you tell me, where do we go from here? I went to hell for you, darling. Tracked down the demons you're harboring. So please tell me, where do we go from here? Where do we go from? 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 So tell me, where do we go from here?
I can't wait to hear you guys talk about this one because this sounds great to me, just like it is. Oh, unmute, Lauren.
Unmute.
All right, I'll give it a crack. The drop sounded really great, and it was enjoyable to hear a drop like that again because it reminded me of lots of records that I worked on with Crane off his album called Fallout in 2017. It felt like, I guess, old school future bass. I like the vocal. I like the vocal being very, very forward in the mix. It would be interesting if it had a little bit more weight on it, like reverb or delay or something, because it just felt kind of quite dry to me, or very direct. And maybe that's the intention, but it'd be interesting to see if it could be made ever so slightly sweeter with a little bit of layering of sorts. I'd be curious as to if Nick heard it differently. But yeah, the leads were nice. The drums were pretty good. It just sort of, it sort of just felt like something I've heard before many times in that era of Vincent and Stay Loose and Crane and future bassish kind of stuff. It didn't feel entirely fresh, but still nice, good to listen to. Nick.
Yeah, I thought it was really easy on the ears. At first the vocal felt like a little non-committal to me. Like it didn't really like go for it, but it also wasn't like sweet enough in a way. And I think it was just a performance thing. But to your point, I think you could compress that vocal a lot harder and like get all the little inflections and nuances of the vocal out of it more and just have them be a little more present. But then to Lauren's point, once you do that, you could do some cool vocal throws with delays and a little bit more reverb, so it sits in with the track and marries the vocal to the track a little bit more. I like the direction of it. The vibe is awesome, but I guess going back to Lauren's point, I do think it swims in a sea of a lot of other records that are the same. So then it's about what can you do to make this, to differentiate this from the other records.
Hess, you have to turn the background down. I can't hear Nick anymore.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think it swims in a sea of a lot of other records in that lane. So then you should just take a step back and look at it and see what can you do to differentiate it and make it a standout.
Sounds like we've already started the next record. Go ahead.
All good. That's all I got.
I always start the next record while people are talking. Real quick, where you can send your music, dopeornopemusic.com. There's the link there, and then there's a place to find us for the show and also to submit your demos. Please do not submit remixes of songs that are already released. Do not send us songs that are already up and released on DSPs. That's how we get bounced. That's how we get spanked. It's not a lot of fun getting spanked in that way. Austin.
No, just a side note. This just in. Lauren Padman, you have an email waiting for you from Galaxy. Galaxy.
All right, cool. Nice. Hurrah.
There you go. This next demo, this is Toxic Wrath with Stay Another Night. Seems like an odd request if you have that name, but go ahead.
You were here instead, I'm all alone. I won't let go, 'cause I don't wanna waste another night alone. Don't go home, I'm gonna ask you to stay another night. If you say so, I can't say no. Baby, can you just stay another night? Keep you close, don't go home. Baby, can you just stay another night?
That is Toxic Wrath, Stay Another Night. Thoughts?
Go ahead,
I
Nick.
dig that one. I like
What
it.
was that? Lauren, what'd you say? Can I hear what?
No, I said go ahead, Nick.
Oh, okay.
Can I hear the last drop? Can you jump to that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Baby, can you just stay another night? Stay another night.
bit here. Hold on. And then it just goes out.
Nice. I mean, there's things that I would do to improve it, but I will say, demo of the day for me.
What?
Track of the day.
Wow.
Get that egg bell out, that egg timer.
Ding.
I like it. I think that you might be able to swap out the kick to get a little more punch out of it. I thought the drop was cool. Like, the sound of the drop was unique to me. It was different. And
Great.
and I enjoyed the vocal. I think the vocal served the record the right way. So that's my 2 cents.
Wow, what a super cool way to put it. Serve the record that way. I like
Serve the record.
the way you
Very
said that.
nice. Yeah, I liked it as well. I think the drop was obviously the most favorite part for us. When we all heard it, I noticed we were like, wait a minute, that's fresh, it's new, it's a cool sound. And it was also because there was no hats in it as well initially, and then the hat landed in the last half of it. Really nice, very fresh, fresh sounding drop, and it wasn't too aggressive in the EQ. It wasn't trying to be too crazy in the high, harsh sort of mid frequencies. So that made it nice. The vocal was good. The vocal served the record, like you said, Nick. It wasn't. I don't know if it was specifically phenomenal or it was specifically in any way bad. It just sort of felt like a nice vocal that sat well in the sonics of it all. Perhaps you could try some extra little effects on it, like some extra delays, not constantly, but just like at the tail of a couple of lines here and there, and some massive big reverse reverbs and things to try to make it feel a little bit more produced out on the vocal, to make it feel like it's more purposeful. I think that would make a big difference. That's really it.